No Nuance November Interracial Couple Edition. Black women who date white men are not the same as black men who date white women. We don't do it for the same reason. Quiet as it's kept, white men 9 times out of 10 aren't colorist and black men are. When a black man gets mad when he sees a black woman with a white guy, it's not because he's sad, it's because he has entitlement issues. Black men try to make themselves feel better by saying that white men can't really handle black women. And I think they mean like sexually. But the truth is, white men know exactly how to make a black woman feel like a woman. And I mean that literally, physically, metaphorically, physiologically. And lastly, there is literally no woman that can make a man feel like a man more than a black woman. Because baby, I'm gonna make you that plate, that well-seasoned plate, okay? I decided to make a little time for this one because I've been seeing this and I'm just wondering, how were you degraded? Because it was quiet for 30 years of my life when black women were categorized as undateable. We can't keep a man. We don't know how to be ladylike. I really didn't hear anything from white women. And I mean ever. And somehow you're degraded because I said, what? What now? I said that no one loves you like a black woman because we have a soulfulness that is intangible, and that is true. Through our food, through our hips, through our curves, through our skin. See, that's how I know you're not used to hearing positive things about black women, because when you hear it, you feel degraded.
Why don't you come here, my little chocolate mocha caramel toffee yes, milk daddy. Hey, baby. Huh? So let me ask you this. What's up? Gun to your head, you're walking down the street with our black child and you're approached by racists. What are you gonna do? What are you talking about? Talking about life. I'm talking about the real world. What are you gonna do? I don't know. You don't know? You know what? I really should listen to my fear. I will protect our child. Say it again. And I will protect our child. Okay, good. I'm gonna go make you a plate, babe. Okay? Just relax.
No Nuance November Interracial Couple Edition.
Surprise, bitches! I stitched myself! And I'm back with some no nuanced opinions about what your reaction to my original video says about you. A lot of you don't understand basic vocabulary words, like nuance. Our schools have failed us because too many of you cannot critically think. If you thought my message was oversexed and fetishized, you fell for it. You would cripple and disintegrate under the adversity that black women face in the same regard. If you felt put down because I said no one can do X better than a black woman, you show that you believe that goodness and greatness is finite. You are inherently competitive, and that's the problem. And lastly, if you understood everything that I said, you and I are intellectual equals, and I love you. If you didn't get it, but you were willing to learn, I love you too. Folks, this is an example of a critical thought. This is a person who can hear a no nuanced opinion and understand that there are critical thoughts behind it. All right. I have a question for a very particular kind of black man. Some, not all. There's your disclaimer. Why do y'all have selective amnesia? When you see a black female creator on this app, depending on her skin tone, who is talking about IR dating blatantly, unabashedly, like I like to do, just to ruffle some feathers, somehow it becomes a double standard and you have absolutely no recollection of supporting many artists and rappers who have prioritized white and light women. All of a sudden you weren't a part of that. And you want me to give you respect that you didn't give. You may have forgotten, but I didn't. And because I can, not because I have to or need to, sometimes I'm gonna make you feel how we felt. Why am I so embarrassed and I'm a viewer. Like, this definitely triggered my fight or flight response. But when I say that today's 2020 Black women don't date interracially with the same lens as our male counterparts, please let this video flash in your mind when you hear that. Because imagine that being a Black girl in a room full of white boys, in the 3 types of BWs she would be getting called. Also, there's just so many implications. There's just so many things wrong. But, you know what I'm saying to you? Have fun. So this is a comment I received on a video of me telling white women to not date colorist men who only value them for their skin tone. And I just want this person to know I didn't mean you. You know, I think that people deserve someone who really loves them. I think that people deserve someone who values them for real reasons, because that means that they probably also value themselves. So I don't mean you. You should definitely keep dating someone who's only valuing you for your skin tone or for whatever superficial reason, because it seems like that's going to be a good match for you. Black women, this is your reminder that you don't owe the Black man shit. And for any Black man who comes across my content, I want you to know that I'm A1, number 1, the first bitch who doesn't owe you shit. And that's what y'all wanted. We don't owe anything to you. We don't have to come on this platform and say all the right things about Black men so that people have a good perception of the community. We don't owe you nothing. And that's what y'all wanted. Right? You wanted us to leave you the fuck alone? Well, guess what? When you find my content and you see me talking about interracial relationships and you're mad that I'm not talking about you and you're mad that I'm redignifying the relationships that you minimize to the crumbs that you accept in your interracial relationships, just know it's because I know that I don't owe you a goddamn thing. The only thing I owe is myself and my offspring to be a better woman. One thing I have realized that people do not like it when you keep the same energy. And to the people in my comments who are like, this is what they want. They want us to be divided. You're so brainwashed. You're fucking brainwashed. This is Stockholm Syndrome. Stop this agreement with your abuser. Stop loving people who don't love you. Stop giving your best to people who give you nothing in return. That's brainwashed. Stop being divisive against your own self. How about that? How about that? How about you be on your own damn side? I love when I get comments from men that are like, who hurt you? Like they think that I'm angry because my feelings are hurt or something. When I'm not mad, I'm just able to say whatever I want. Because like, I haven't been single in 10 years. And I'm not trying to like brag. I'm just saying, I'm a wife. That's a state of mind. Not a title. And my 7-year anniversary is tomorrow. I've had 2 relationships in 10 years. And I see a lot of women who don't have love, particularly Black women. They're burdened with all of these ideals that we're forced to live up to that no one else is. I'm not out here looking for a man, so I don't have to tread light. Relationships are not easy. I've weathered so many storms with my man, and I just want to help Black women and all women find the love that they deserve. So I picked a random comment to respond to because they're pretty much all like this. And I just want to have a conversation with Black women real quick. Is it not so hilarious how unoriginal some Black men are? Like, they can't even come up with their own insults. They can't even come up with their own stereotypes for Black women. This is usually why we call them the white people of Black people. Because, like, they literally use the same language
of their oppressor against their own women. And I honestly just think you guys are shocked to see a black woman who just like doesn't give a fuck. Because I don't have to. I got a man, boo. I don't have to care. I said this video for the women who can't say it. And I do it again, bitch. I need you guys to tell me something. Am I an anomaly? Because ever since I was a little girl, it never occurred to me that I could only date other black boys. Is that like a shock? Like it like I never thought that I had that limitation. And I think because I didn't inherently feel that way, I didn't go out into the world that way. That's not to say that every person that I dated was a great person or doing it for the right or wrong reasons of all races. Because I've dated white, black, Asian, etc., right? But I think that mindset is so important because had I gone out into the world thinking that I could only attract one type of guy, I'd be single.
It can be really hard to date as a black woman. It's hard for everyone. Stop playing the victim. I know dating is hard for everyone, but it's particularly harder when you're not the standard of beauty. You can't be upset because you're not someone's preference. Okay, then I'll date someone who appreciates me. You're dating a white guy? You must be a bed wench. I'm just dating who appreciates me. There's no way he can appreciate you because I don't appreciate you. So you're saying it's not possible for anyone to appreciate me if you don't appreciate me? That's exactly what I'm saying. Die alone.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but in 2021, we are not asking people if they like black girls, if they like big girls. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing this medium ugly trend. Can somebody tell me what the hell is medium ugly? We're not doing that. We're not fishing for compliments on the internet. We are being confident people. We are living authentic existences so that when we go out into the world, we will know if somebody's into us. We will know because they have no choice. We carry it with us. They have no choice but to be into this. We're not asking for approval. We're not putting power in other people's hands who we don't even know, who could end up being hot garbage juice, bad bitchery, or bust. I believe that pressuring creators to use language like some and not all is actually doing more harm than good. It has a direct correlation to two major themes that I love discussing: accountability and narcissistic behavior. Because saying some and not all prioritizes the feelings of the individuals who aren't being impacted by the issue, as opposed to focusing on the pervasive issue that is actually harming a lot of people. Example: women are not allowed to discuss sexism and misogyny without first protecting self-proclaimed non-abusive men. Black people can't talk about racism without protecting non-racist white people. Black women can't talk about our experiences without first protecting the egos of black men and non-black women. Do you see how ass backwards it is? This behavior makes it impossible for people to say, hey, I acknowledge your experience, and centers themselves. I really want to talk about something that affects a lot of people like me. Sure, go ahead. So a lot of people like me experience certain treatment from these type of... Wait, let me stop you. Before you say that, make sure you say some, not all. But you haven't even heard what I was going to say. But there's no possible way that everyone is going to do whatever you're going to say because I don't do it. How do you know you don't do it? If you haven't heard me say it. Well, I shouldn't have to listen if you're not going to say that some people don't do it because I don't. But I don't know that you don't do it if I don't say it and talk about it.
You're exactly correct, so just stop talking about it.
So I was having a conversation with one of my good friends, a light-skinned black woman, about toxic dating culture. She was telling me about how when she was dating, she felt objectified and fetishized by black men. Now, she grew up on the West Coast and I grew up on the East Coast. So she told me that where she grew up, I would be considered a 4 on a scale of 1 to 10 when it came to dating black men. And she even has a sister, my skin tone, who always tells her how hard it is for her to date. But knowing that, she said that she wouldn't come on the internet and say the things about black men that I do because she has cousins and brothers that she loves. Well, I think that if you love someone, you should love them enough to tell them the truth. Kind of like how I come on this platform and I tell women that if they don't want to end up miserable like their mothers, they need to learn how to not screw up their kids and take control of their own lives. So if you have cousins and brothers that you love, I would encourage you to actually tell them the truth about their toxic dating behaviors instead of being complicit or uncomfortable for the ways that, I don't know, it benefits you.
Mine. At this point, I'm not really concerned about it. They're not deporting anyone.
No, you still have to get married within 90 days.
Still got to get married in 90 days.
Yeah.
That could be you don't know. You sit here and shake your head. You don't know. I don't think they're in the business kicking people out if they...
Genuine question for white men. I'm partnered with a white man. I want to know why y'all do this. Why do you do what he just did? Why do you always say what you think about something instead of looking something up? He does not know what the US is going to do about K-1 visa people during this COVID, right? His parents tell him to call and to find out. And he responds with, well, I don't think they're going to do anything.
You have no idea how many fights it causes because I'm like, babe, I literally didn't ask you what you thought. What I asked you to do was find out. Why do y'all have such an aversion to finding out information? Like, I don't, or to...
Great. Black girl dating tip. Great. Now that I've gotten your attention, if you're dating a white boy and he hasn't seen you in your natural state, that's not your man.
So one of my best friends is a white girl, and she often dates different types of guys. Some of those men are black men. And I want to tell y'all a story about what happens when certain types of black men don't get what they want from white women. These men will gas her up. Like, they treat her like her pussy is Kerrygo butter, okay? If she sings one rap line, they're like, oh my God, you're so black. They literally think that's a compliment, okay? And then if she sets any type of boundary, and I mean, it could be super normal, like, hey, I have work in the morning, like, I can't come over tonight. And he doesn't get what he wants too many times in a row. Now all of a sudden she's all types of Beckys. She's using her privilege against him. This, that, and the third. And I just want to say that when black women say that we don't want these men, we mean that shit.
So my last video, I was talking about certain types of black men and how they treat white women when they don't get what they want. And of course, naturally, here come the gargoyles out of the woodwork thinking that anything they can say to me about me is literally going to do anything. It's not. Like when Kanye said, whoever think their words is affecting me is too stupid. And if you could do it better than me, then you do it. That's literally me personified. But that's not why I'm making this video. I'm making it because these men actually refuse to acknowledge the story that all of these white women are sharing. Go look at it. It's the video right before this one. They refuse to acknowledge the pain and all of the negativity that these white women are sharing, having been in relationships with certain black men that will flip on them and tell them that they're racist because they try to set a boundary. Literally, one woman told me that this man put hands on her daughter, and so she ended it, and then he came to her job and called her racist. Just know that they don't give a fuck about your feelings. They want to possess you. First of all, thank this person for actually listening to what these women are saying. But I just want to bring this point all the way home. We're going to come full circle with it, okay? Because there are people either in my comments or my DMs telling me it's not my business to talk about what black men do to white women. But it actually is, because it comes all the way back home. Because let me tell you something. When that same man who called my friend racist for not wanting to come over to hook up was done cussing her out and calling her all types of Karens and whatnot over a very, very normal boundary that was set, that she was allowed to set, you want to know what he said? He said, I'm just going to go back to fucking hood bitches.
where he's from. Do hood bitches mean that they're inherently black? No, but I know exactly where he's from, and the women in his neighborhood are black. So that tells me you put this white woman on a pedestal, and when it didn't work out for you, you're just gonna go back and abuse black women.
I want to talk about this a little bit further because this is why it does not help white people not to understand how much you need to intimately understand what is racism, what is an act of racism, what are racist thoughts, what is it? It doesn't save you not to know, you know what I mean? And I think that there's so much fear around being racist as if you weren't raised in a racist society that like, it's that fear that keeps you from the ultimate knowing of what is and what isn't racist. So that when you're put in a situation where a fool will begin to harass you in some way, and you don't respond, or you don't want to hear it, or you just ignore them, and then all of a sudden they're calling you racist, you need to know in your heart, in your body, in your mind that that's not true. But it starts with you knowing what is and what isn't racist. You know what I mean? To save you.